up, blessed ones? You are now blaring the podcast. Brought to you by AB1 Studios. Thank you for your time. Listening. You wanna know something else, blessed ones? Rest in peace to Irv Gotti. He passed away this week due to a stroke. Not to give too many details on that, this man was a hip hop producer who made waves for Ja Rule and Murder Inc., Ashanti. He dealt with DMX, Nas, Ja Rule. He's executive creator and producer of the show Tales, which I did watch. And although I respect 50 Cent, we gotta take our hats off to Irv. So rest in peace to him. I'm not gonna be before you long. There's just a couple things that I want to address. Since the last time I spoke with y'all, it was last month, and of course the Trump administration is back in office now. A lot of folks came at Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Nelly, Soulja Boy for performing at the Crypto Ball, which isn't the inauguration ball, but they're all one and the same in some sense. And I must be honest, like, people have to learn, not even really learn, but people have to just accept that everybody don't look at things the same way that you do. And I think even when it comes to politics, of course we know that Trump is not a politician. He was convicted, but we have to remember, like, at the end of the day, Trump is your president. Is our president. And if you don't like it, if you don't respect it, if you can't get with it, then, there's people who can't afford to leave this country. Some people got to deal with it. But I'm just going to put it in this sense. For me, I am really tired of people complaining about other people doing what they have to do to support their family. Personally, if it's not illegal, if you're not hurting anyone, and if it is morally sound, it really shouldn't bother you. Because for me, for one, being a Christian man and even, standing on my square and standing for what I believe in, people do have bills, people do have other responsibilities than to just be standing all the way with their people and always trying to please everybody and please their people and all that. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, and this is one thing that I'm gonna say: nobody never wants to go to God. Nobody never wants to really sit in their room, sit in their closet and pray. And again, this could be social media influence, but it's just like I'm just tired of people trying to feel as though like they have to do the same thing that you do. If you do not like Donald Trump, if you do not like Kamala Harris, if you do not like 50 Cent, Rick Ross, or anybody like that, it's okay. What they eat won't make you crap. And I think certain things, it's like if, again, we have to stand united as Americans when we need to stand together as black and brown people as needed. We need to stand united as men and women when needed. But it's like politics is important, but because somebody's performing, to me, that's not essential. Like, I don't think anybody should be upset about artists performing at a certain event. I don't think people should be mad about Kendrick performing at a Super Bowl. I don't even think people should be mad at Big Meech for having this event that Rick Ross is having, because there's an issue that brewed between Big Meech and 50 Cent because of this event. But I'm not really going to get too in that. My only thing is, like, when people talk about mind your business, they're only talking about don't tell me what to do. Because when people are minding their business, when people are trying to make their money support their family, and it's like, if this isn't something that you agree with, then they're going to be all up in your business. And my thing is, we sit here and show loyalty to people we don't know so much, and it's great that we can enjoy somebody's content and work. It's like we show so much loyalty to sports teams, musicians, that it makes it like now you gotta pick a side. Because even I'll give you even an example. Seen this video of Wale. He was at the Phillies game when Philly beat the Commanders. It's almost as if hey, they was he was just there at the game. He had his gear on. That head. The Eagles won. But I know about the Philly fans. The Philly fans are they go hard. But my thing is like, let people have their team. Like I said, as long as nobody's disrespecting you, you should be good. As long as nobody's kind of like trying to, spit in your face or kidnap your child or steal your car or like any of these things that are like vile things, like it's fine. Because the thing about it is, there could be some people out here that like, hey, I appreciate everybody that listens to me. I appreciate everybody who listens to the show, who listens to me physically, who listens to me emotionally. Like, I appreciate people who support me. That's great, but I will never condone or tell somebody, hey, this person is, they riding with my enemy, like, go get them. Like, nah, I'm not, that's not how I'm built. But like, some people are like that, and that's okay. They can do that. I'm gonna stay in my bubble and, do what I do. My thing is, like, I think us as people in general, just as a whole, it's like we have to, you know, think about the bigger picture. I think even with the 50 and Big Meech situation, I don't know the detail on that, but it seems as though like 50 is saying because Big Meech is standing next to Rick Ross and they had their little issues, and Big Meech says, and Lord, this man been locked up for however many years. I don't even know. I'm not going to do the research on it, but he's been locked up for how many years? Yeah, of course, 50 Cent put money back into Big Meech's family's pocket. Little Meech is playing him. And of course, Rick Ross had made a song about it. Rick Ross is another one who makes great music, and he kind of became a character of himself, but at the same time, it's kind of like, so what? Like, I mean, maybe there's something else going. Maybe our friends, okay, yeah, you're doing a series for us. Thank you very much. If y'all had some, if y'all might, yeah, of course y'all might have personal relationship, but you gotta remember, like, when you're creative, when you're an artist, there's gonna be fans. You can't be too soaked up on somebody being loyal to you when it's beneficial, when it's not, well, when it's just beneficial. Because the way that I look at it is like, hey, look, man, Big Meech he was a prime time player in his time. And even though 50 created a series based on his upcomings and his life, yeah, he Meech owes 50, a lot. But you gotta remember, man, this is a big time drug dealer who made a name for himself doing what he does in the streets. And the thing about it is, because 50 has the resources and created an avenue for different artists and actors and people, it's like, yeah, you better stay loyal to me because I put money in your pocket. But you gotta think, man, like, that's gonna hold a lot of people in a awkward position, because even like I said again, Irv Gotti had Tails, and there's a lot of, like, Woody McClain. Woody McClain did Tails, and he did Power or Ghost. Like, Woody McClain, you got it, like. But again, it just all depends, because again, you gotta think like, hey, you're trying to say because you and this person had an issue, you can't work with this person, because if you work with him, you can't work with me. It's like, hey, this is a business at the same time, because if it's gonna be taken personally, because 50 and Irv had a real life issue, but that's between them. 50 and Ja had a real life issue that was between them. But I'm gonna just leave the hip hop gossip to the hip hop gossip columns. That's not what this is for. I just wanted to point out, is like, hey, we gotta take a little bit more responsibilities into, what is really important. We got LA fires, we got plane disappearance, we got sex trafficking. We have a lot of things that's bigger than just some performances. What I want to do though is this: is I want to point out. I want to point out that tomorrow is the Super Bowl. Kendrick's performing. Kendrick's and SZA's performing at the Super Bowl. Shout out to them. Much love and respect for them. I love SZA's new album, Lana and GNX. And I'm gonna say this: I like Drake too. I still respect Drake. I still think he's great, and that's okay. I don't have a personal relationship with any of them. I am a fan first, like I mentioned on TikTok. It's like sometimes as fans, we show so much loyalty to artists, and maybe some people might know them personally, but I'm like, okay, look, why do you commit your life for someone? Why do you dedicate your life to someone? Why are you so loyal to someone who is only there to entertain you? Because based on the information that I've heard when I looked at the interview that Kendrick had with Deska and Ebro, is that he said it's a sport. So even if there's a actual personal problem between him and Drake, he carried it as a sport, a competitive sport, which hip hop is a competitive sport. But my thing is, both of them, and I'm not going to sit here and tell people how they should be creative and do their art, but you sometimes have to acknowledge that if y'all are going to be competitive, that things get a little rough. Like when people was going at J. Cole, and I'm gonna address this too because I don't know how many other podcasts have said this, but when I was listening to Rory and Maul was talking about, hey, J. Cole can't rap about being the best anymore. One thing I need people to understand is this wasn't, I didn't gather it as Cole saying, I can't sleep at night because I was in a rap battle. It was more so of Cole and Kendrick have a personal relationship, and from my understanding, again, that they actually had a friendship, and even though they met each other in the industry, they had built a brotherly bond. And even with Kendrick being at his this is the greatest year he's had, but to me, Kendrick's always been great. Make sure y'all go on Apple Music and look at my Lupe vs. Kendrick playlist. But he's always been great, but this is the year he if Pusha T didn't finish Drake, Kendrick finished Drake, but Drake isn't finished. He knocked him out, and that fight's over. But he competed like Drake. He showed hard in that. But Kendrick just had the bigger record. Kendrick had he won a Grammy behind this record, and the fact that the Grammys were last week, or like the same, like the Grammys, and now the Super Bowl. Now a lot of people saying, hey, he's not gonna play. They're Not Like Us. And again, I'm just one person. To me, Not Like Us isn't even his best song. It might be the biggest record he ever did, and he got 5 Grammys over it, and he got uh Super Bowl performance behind it. But my thing is, as great as Kendrick is, and it's just like the same thing with Denzel winning an Oscar for Training Day. And of course, we like competition as positive vibes only and good vibes only, and how holding it out everybody wants to be. We like drama. We like competition. And whether it's friendly competition or real life competition, because me personally, like I said, all this is just like people are picking sides. People are like, whether it's sports, whether it's politics, whether it's music, politics should be as important as people's faith. But like I said, all of this now has become entertainment based. Donald Trump is president because of his entertainment factor. Drake and Kendrick, their dispute was entertaining. It was exciting. But it was also exhausting because now we have an artist who's suing his label for backing another artist that's under the same label. But at the same time, we think that it's because Drake has lost the battle. And the one thing I will point out as well, because I remember Charlamagne mentioning this, it's like, hey, you would benefit from, from this as well. Like, you have benefited from, battles and stuff as well. But like I said, we can't. Everybody has their own prerogative. So because of the circumstances that happened between Drake and Kendrick, no matter what Drake does, because Drake is he's expanding it's an overkill for him now. He's stretching it longer than Kendrick stretched it. He did the Not Like Us video. He did the pop-up show, and now they're doing the Super Bowl, but Drake is trying to stop it. But at the same time, my thing is, what Drake is doing is his prerogative. A lot of people will say that it's about the battle between him and Kendrick. How do I feel about it? I'm not 100% sure. I would say, hey, what you're doing, Drake, is a sucker move, but I'm not 100% sure, because what he's doing might actually be, because he's not suing Kendrick, he's suing the label. Like, I love Drake, I love Kendrick. I don't know these guys personally, but at the same time, I'm a fan, and me as a creator myself, I can see where the legalities come in. You're inflating numbers, but you can't really prove that. Like they say, men lie, numbers lie. I mean, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Numbers lie, because at the same time, you got to factor in the fact that somebody's keeping score. And I'm gonna be honest. This is just me. This is just my opinion. And I'm gonna be done off this. And this is so I'm gonna be on to the next episode. But here's my opinion. Before there were scorekeepers, before there was judges, before people were writing and making labels down sports games, people were just going. It's like, who's the greatest basketball player of all times? Who's the greatest football player of all times? Who's the greatest baseball player? Who's the best rapper of all time? It's like, hey, it's a business. And one thing I always notice is like, hey, Eminem sold the most records. People can talk about his white privilege and everything, but it's like, hey, numbers don't lie. Hey, it's regardless of whether he's white, it's like he can't help that he's white. It's just like anything else. It's kind of like when, we had Jason Williams, a white Chuck or whatever. Like, hey, he's white. He's balls. It's like there's gonna be more eyes on this individual because he stands out from the rest of the culture and the rest of society or whatever you're trying to correlate. But when you stand out, it's just like, I'll use myself as an example. I'm not a traditional artist. And like I said, I podcast, I songwrite, I'm not a singer, I'm not a rapper, I rhyme, but I'm not a singer nor a rapper. But it's like, I'm not like some well-known artist who's out there who has, like, I got songs on SoundCloud, I got songs on Apple Music, I got songs on Spotify, I got videos, I got all this type of stuff. But it's like, me putting my content out, it means that it's open for public criticism. So that's how, even the same thing I look at it with Drake is like, hey, you put it, like, you engage with Kendrick, whatever comes behind that, you have to take that. Now, whether Kendrick would have did it the same thing if he had lost the battle, we can't say it now because you already did it first. So my thing is this, people, it's okay to be neutral when it's not something that you are directly affected by. Like, we have people out here sex trafficking, selling drugs to the community. We have people out here being sex offenders. We have people out here stealing money. We have people out here really just doing all type of doing some foul play behind the scenes that nobody knows about. And one thing that I'm learning too, because I'm learning this in school, is even in NDAs, like when you sign an NDA, oh, trust and believe me, the repercussions and what happens if you do speak on it on behalf of the NDA, that will, like, you're gonna be dealt with. So we don't really know what type of NDAs these people are making behind the scenes, whether it's in entertainment, music, movies, sports, and there's NDAs out here. And my main thing is, I'm not gonna say I never signed the NDA. I'm not gonna say that, everybody signs one. But what I'm saying is, hold yourself more responsible. Social media has become such an addictive thing that we it's like, hey, you have to tell me what's going on now. I remember life before social media. Social media has good. Like, social media might do a little bit more good than bad. It just all depends on what your algorithm does. Like, it just all depends. But my only thing is, enough is enough. Y'all be stay probably productive. This is Blair, the Care Bear. One.